This
to order
conference
at
will now be recorded.
7:06. I will call the roll of people attending. You only need to speak up if I don't read your name off. And this meeting is held under the uh, rules uh, of Governor Baker, order to temporarily suspend certain provisions of the open meeting law. All votes will be taken via roll call. Okay, very good. We have attending the meeting, Holland Ford, Jason Stanton, Alan Pease, Barbara Yocum, Brad Harris, Chris McDermott, George Tillison, George Cahill, Glenn Eaton, Guy Corbacero, Jessica DeRoy, John Telepiak, Karen Chapman, Rick Ward, Robert Sorts, Roger Hoyt, and Ms. Donahue from Harvard. Okay, very good. That's the roll call. Next item is approval of July 7th, 2022 MRPC minutes. Uh, I don't know if you've all had a chance to read them. They are on the website. If anybody has any additions, subtractions, corrections, please speak up. Otherwise, I'll ask a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
Move to approve the July 7th meeting minutes of the MRPC as printed.
Roger Schwartz made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second from Alan Pease.
Okay, very good. Any questions? If not, I'll call the roll. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Barbara Yocum,
Aye.
Jeff Tillison,
Abstain.
um, Guy Corbacero, aye. John Telepiak,
Aye.
Robert Schwartz,
Aye.
Roger Hoyt,
Aye.
and Ms. Donahue.
Aye.
Okay, very good. The minutes are accepted as printed unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the cash schedule for July 2022. Um, let's see. I guess she hasn't. Our treasurer has not come back in.
Mr.
Who would like
Chairman?
to take it? Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Linda's off and Chris McNamara, fiscal assistant's here, but who's going to read it? That's between you and your commissioners.
Okay, very good. I will read it then, uh, since Laura is not here. Okay, very good. Unless anybody else wants to take it, feel free. Opening balance June 30th, 2022. Total opening balances of all the accounts is $790,823.35. Cash receipts, we have a list of cash receipts here. Um, and along with transfers, that total receipts, we have actually in transfers, we have transfer to debits of $1,700 and transfer to MMDT operating budget of $2,000. So an interest of $289 for a total receipts of $155,577.30. Total cash on hand before this warrant was $946,000 and $946,465. Less amount of the warrant, all cash disbursements of $124,632.58. Balance after this warrant, $821,768.07. And on deposit, we have $821,768.07. And that is the cash schedule. Do we have any comments from the staff on this or from the commissioners?
I do
If
have
not,
something,
I'll
Mr.
go
Chairman.
ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, very,
Yes,
very briefly, let me go back to, I don't have the cash schedule on my screen anymore. Where'd it go?
And
Jason,
I'll
can
note,
you put the handout back up?
I'll note this is a cash schedule from 7/1/2022 to
Oh, did it?
7/31/2022.
My apologies. I think when I got a message, it kicked it off. I'll put it back up. Give me a second.
Thanks, Jay. Okay, I just wanted to say one thing, and I obviously I want the treasurer to chime in, Laura, if you want to also, but I just wanted to say that, and I meant to say this last month and I forgot, we typically don't have almost $1 million in all of our cash accounts together. Okay, I want you to take, Jason, if you would scroll back up to the top, please, where there's a 790 figure. And keep the very top. That's perfect. Thank you very much. So if you take those line items, and I want to draw your attention to EPA program income account, enterprise means enterprise bank. All of our cash accounts with enterprise bank. Take the 790 minus the 256. So 690, 590, 540, about 535 roughly is the cash, what we operate with. But even 535 is a lot of money for us to have. We typically don't have over $500,000, in operating cash. But first of all, the EPA program income account is only for new loans, for environmental site assessments and cleanups of sites. Okay, so don't even look at that until we start making loans again, hopefully this fiscal year. So you have about 535 left. Of that 535, there are two lines that say MMDT. Those are our savings accounts that we keep cash in there to earn a higher interest rate. And we have a lot of cash. In one MMDT account, Linda keeps it separate for tracking purposes. The MMDT OPEB is for other pension employment benefits. That's to pay the retirees' health insurance. Then there's another $145,000 in the same savings account. So let your eyes go to this first row, $322,975. We typically don't have over $300,000 in our checking account. So what's going on? Like I said, I want to tell you last month, what's going on is that the certain state and or federal agencies, mostly the state recently, Energy and Environmental Affairs, said, we've got a contract with you for about $145,000. Here it is, as opposed to doing a quarterly invoice or a monthly invoice to get reimbursement. And there's a shift, and this is interesting, and this goes to the Great Resignation, the Great Retirement, the Great Reshuffle, the Great people taking gap years and not working again. There are a lot of people in positions at state and federal agencies they don't have people for. There aren't enough people to process paper. So instead of, there are certain enlightened people, let me say, in our state and federal bureaucracies that are saying, we trust you, we're just going to give this money, but you're going to give us monthly reports or quarterly reports. Okay. So why is our cash building up so much? It's not because we didn't buy gold. We didn't buy gold bullion or anything like that. We just, that's why. They're giving us more cash. We still have to do the work. So that deserved, on the other side of the table, commissioners need to know these things. Thank you.
The only thing I would add to that, Glenn, is even if the checking account is our operating, so we don't need that much per month in operating itself. So why isn't that moved to, not that it's a lot of money today, but interest rates will go up a little bit. Why is that not moved to another account until it's needed or money needs to be expended?
I advised Linda Quinlivan, our fiscal person, to move more. She started with a smaller amount, but taking that comment, we'll take that comment to her and say, we need to move more. We really don't need that amount of cash. Now, in defense of Linda, honestly, there are some times that we get, payroll 26 times a year. You can, your rent, your electric bill, the occasional, stamps bill or copies at Staples or whatever. We have pretty level costs. Every 3 months, we get whacked with about a $40,000 or $45,000 bill for state retirement and insurance costs, and they come every 90 days. So I think 200,000 is probably 150 to 200 at the minimum is more reasonable, and the cash doesn't need to be over 300,000. So, and I do want to say, and I'm going to credit, this came from Holly. We can withdraw the money out of our MMDT savings account only a certain number of times a month. So we're trying to find out the balance. Thank you, Holly. I needed that. We're trying to find out the balance, but we've always operated between 150 and 250 in the checking account, but it takes a little more time to get the money out of MDT. So we're trying to find that balance, but we will. We can push that down a little bit more because we're going to get higher interest in the MMDT account. Laura, those are great words. Thank you.
Glenn, could I have a second?
Chris, you can have many seconds if the chairman allows it. Go ahead, Mac.
So last month we did start transferring money to the MMDT account. We transferred, I believe it was $50,000, just because we've received so much money up front. So it's actually unearned revenue right now. But like Glenn said earlier, we've been just receiving money up front for some of the contracts we have. We typically don't have this much money in our account, but that is a good suggestion to move more into the MMDT savings account just to earn a higher interest rate. I know last month we earned about $230 on that 145 in interest.
And that's a really good number. Thanks, Mac. And Mac, for all of you who know or don't know Mac's our fiscal assistant. He works very closely with Linda, our fiscal director. And Matt, in many things, he's a walking computer. And thank you, Mac, because that's very interesting. The $200 we earned in interest, we could earn more if we put more in the MMDT. But we know we have to be careful because we need a few lead days to pull it out. But 200 times 12 months, $2,400. You know what? That would fund a major events line item. Like a barbecue for all the commissioners and staff. So I think we have an incentive maybe to move some more money, and we'll do something, maybe give back to our volunteers and our staff who work very hard for the organization. So yeah. Thank you, Laura, again. We'll bring this to Linda Monday, Mac. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. And like you said before, we have the quarterly health insurance coming up in October. So that will be about $50,000 for the retirees and for our share of it for our current employees.
Great, thank you, Matt.
Back to the comment made about the only so many withdrawals. Was that per month or per quarter?
So, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, there's a Reg D for financial institutions allows you so many withdrawals out of any savings account per month.
Okay, so
I mean,
I understand transfers are easy. You can make the transfers online, right? Within your accounts, within the bank?
The Reg D prohibits any more than, I can't remember if it's 4 or 6 transactions per month. So if you're using it as let's keep all our money here and then every time we write checks, move money, you could exceed that. And then for the remainder of the month, you can't take any more money out.
Yeah, and Laura, MMDT is not Enterprise Bank. This is not a transfer within the same bank. MMDT, Mass Municipal Depository Trust, is a separate financial entity that many municipalities invest monies with. So it's not a transfer within a bank structure. It's from one bank to the other.
Okay.
I just looked it up too, and it was 6 per month.
Okay, which doesn't seem like, I mean, it seems like you could just do one a month. If you know what your upcoming expenses are for the month.
I agree. We're going to take this to Linda Monday and make a change. It's just that simple. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We'll get that down to 250 to 200 easily. Thank you, Laura. That's a great point.
Okay, very good.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment? It's Karen.
Yes, Karen, I'm sorry. I have 2 computers here, so I'm pressing on the wrong one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wondered if the commission had a policy about how much should be kept in the checking account, if possible. Like 3 months of salaries, and we know the insurance is coming up, so that's what
we have no policy.
Okay.
We have no written policy, Karen, and it's never had one. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't have one in the future. So that's something to talk about. So Mac and Linda,
people in the future know the best way to operate.
That's an excellent point. Linda, Matt, can you put this on the agenda for you and Linda and me to chat Monday? And we'll do that.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Hey,
Thanks,
very
Mr.
good.
Chairman.
Thank you, everyone. If there's no other comments, I'll ask for a motion to accept the cash schedule as presented, subject to audit. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Laura
Second,
Sheffield moved. Second,
second,
Bob
Bob
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Okay, very good. Any more questions? If not, I'll call a roll. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Margaret Yocum,
Aye.
Jeff Tillison,
Aye.
Guy Corpusella, the chair votes aye. John Telepiak,
Aye.
Laura Schifrin,
Aye.
Robert Schwartz,
Aye.
Roger Hoyt,
Aye.
Ms. Donahue,
Aye.
very good. That's carried unanimously. Okay, next item on the agenda is guest announcements and questions. Guest is George Cahill. Do you have any comments, George?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any comment today.
Okay, very good. Any comments from any of the board members? Or questions, I should say. If not, I'll move on to administrative matters, which is Glenn. It's all yours, Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last month, I was asked, and I asked for deferment so I could get the details on the question and speak more intelligently this evening about a question that was, hey, what are the loan terms and conditions for the EPA Brownfields loan that we have with 184 Stone Street Realty Trust, which is a property in Clinton, and the trustee is Mr. Kevin Jarvis. So very quickly, back in 01, we were awarded a grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for about $480 grand. We made one loan for $350,000 made to 184 Stone Street Realty Trust. We made that loan in December of 2005. Payments started in January 5, 2016. If I'm on your side of the table, I'm thinking, well, what's the difference between 450 and 350? Where'd all the other money go? It went to two places. The difference there of 130. Let's see. A grantee can get no more than 10% for what the EPA calls programmatic costs, which I call administration. And then the difference between, let's say, 130, take away about 50 grand, is about 80 or 82 left. That 82 went to an environmental engineering consultant to write all the appropriate reports for due diligence in the world of a phase 1 environmental assessment, a phase 2, probably a phase 3. Yes, there was a phase 3, and then there was a quality assurance project plan. So you hire a consultant to do the technical work. The staff gets paid to market and make a loan, to do closing, to do underwriting, and so on and so forth. And then the 350 was made to the client. The loan terms specifically 2% rate, fixed interest rate. That's the highest interest rate of the policy that we adopted at that period in the early O's, and that we reaffirmed by a vote of the commission. I think it was in 19, because we're going to put the program income money back on the street and try to make more loans. So 2%. The payments will go almost $3,200 a month. We're being paid, and the payments will go through September 5, 2027. So we have just a tad over 5 years remaining on the note. The balance left remaining is, I apologize for the decimal there, the period after 188,293.65, $188,293.65 remains to be paid. The loan is secured by a mortgage and a P note recorded at the Registry of Deeds to, as I said, secure the note. So basically, that's the response to the question that we had last month. Mr. Chairman, I'm here for questions.
Any questions of Glenn on this section? Not hearing any? Go forward, Glenn.
Sure. If Jason could pan down so I can see 5.2. Thanks a bunch. Thank you, Jay. Just a brief update. We're moving forward. Holly and I are moving forward doing an internal review of the personnel policies and a dress code. The personnel policies, we'll draw the consultant in the fall and hopefully get this done fall, ideally at the winter at the outside. But we're doing an internal review to clean up. So as an example, 30 seconds and I'll stop boring you. An example of the commissioners at my request eliminated comp time about a year ago, but it still says comp time in the policies. So we have some housekeeping to do. And we want to make sure our policies are up to date with personnel laws, state and federal, and relevant regulations. The dress code in the last sentence there is actually a directive of the executive director. That's not a policy, but I want that to be looked at, amended, brought up to date. I mean, I wrote the dress code back in 08, 09, and it needs a review. It needs an overhaul. It should be gender neuter. All of those things. We should be using the appropriate language and make sure it's not violating anyone's rights or freedom of speech and all that fun stuff. And it was tight then. We had our then attorney, Mark Goldstein, who's now Judge Goldstein, look at it, and it's fine. But, after 10, 12 years, you want to look at these things and update them. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman, on 5.2. And I want to defer grand announcements to Karen later on in the show. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. Do we have any questions of Glenn on that? Well, that is all in section 5. So we move on to department updates. Item 6.1, Geographic Information Systems, GIS. Do we have any updates on that?
We have no new updates at this time.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Then we go to 6.2, Planning and Development. Karen, anything on that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to give an update on brownfield. So as you all know, I mentioned 2 or 3 months ago that we didn't receive the latest brownfields grant that we applied for in December. So there's a new grant coming out that we will be applying for, and all of the EPA regions have provided technical assistance to each of the regions in the form of university programs and students that help with application review. And so we applied for technical assistance from UConn, which is Region 1's university of choice. And so they have a program where the students learn about collecting data and researching and all about brownfields and demographics. And so they'll be providing assistance with collecting data and reviewing our application to make it a better application.
Okay, thank you, Karen.
Oh, and one more thing, sorry. On Monday, Glenn and I are meeting with the EPA to have a debriefing on why our application was rejected. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Karen.
Wait, Stacy from Harvard. I have one quick question. Have we heard anything about the MBTA communities, the multifamily? Are they still working through that at the state level?
Thank you, Stacy. No, I haven't heard much. Originally they said June, July, and then I heard through an email that it was going to be end of summer. So let's hope for the best.
Okay, hopefully they move the deadline, because I know there was like a 2024 deadline for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume that they would move that, or at least hope that, because town meeting takes a while to prep for. So.
Right.
All right. I figured you'd tell us if you heard anything, but I figured I'd ask.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks.
Or until the MBTA is back up to being reliable.
Okay, it might take a while. Okay. If nothing else there, we go to 6.3, Transit and Transportation. Do we have anything on that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We're in the process of looking at developing an application for the Safe Streets for All federal funding program. We sent out a survey to our communities to see about interest from the communities. We've gotten a half a dozen or so responses back. We'll be compiling that information. We'll also be researching a little more on the application process, and we'll be having some outreach to the communities to discuss their involvement, what we'll be looking to do, and also to discuss budgets and so forth. This is a federal grant through the new bipartisan infrastructure law. And well, before we can do apply for implementation funding for projects, we have to have an action plan in place. So we'll be applying under the grant program to develop an action plan for the entire region for the communities that are interested. And it has a September 15th deadline. So we'll be working towards that. So just we sent the survey out to each community, to DPW, planning boards and departments, and the select boards and mayors. So if you haven't seen it, please check with some of your people to see if you have the survey there. It's a quick 5-question, 6-question survey. And if you have any other questions after that, just give me a call or reach out to me through email, and I can explain what we're looking to do.
Great. Thank you, Brad. Any questions of Brad? Actually, this is a nice in-between month where I don't have to blather on for 15 minutes about everything that's going on. So we do that every 3 months. So this is a quiet month. So we move on to new business. I think we have Karen Chapman wants to say something here from Planning and Development. Floor is yours, Karen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to notify you all of new grants that were awarded since the last meeting. We applied for a planning assistance grant for Lunenburg to assist them with MBTA communities, and we received $30,000 for that. We applied for a planning assistance grant for Shirley to assist them with some implementation of some of their master plan objectives. And we got Green Communities contracts with Ashby and Athol to do quarterly reports, final reports, and technical assistance under their Green Communities grant awards. And Ashby is so different than Athol, not because of the size of the town, but the number of projects they were awarded. Ashby was only awarded $10,000, and so you can only have up to 10% of your grant award be towards administrative costs. So that's why the difference. Athol has a bigger grant. So that's it for those. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Karen. Next item on this new business is a verbal report by our Executive Director, Glenn Eden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is pretty brief, and I want to precede what I'm going to say by please don't kill the messenger. Okay, remember those words, all right? So about 2 Fridays ago, 13 days ago, I received a phone call, and I'll keep this very brief, but we were asked to be the venue, just the place that Congressman Jim McGovern would bring a federal dignitary, and that federal dignitary is Cabinet Secretary from the U.S. Health and Human Services Director Xavier Becerra. The Secretary Becerra and Jim McGovern will be at our office tomorrow, supposedly at 9:20 to 10:30. Everything else is in the control of Becerra's office. Very limited control from McGovern's office, and we're like a hotel, if you will. They're using the atrium. I want to say we have volunteers from the staff who are helping out, and Holly has led all event coordination. And I want to say this on the public record, that without volunteers like Karen and Tyler and Jonathan and Mac, and I'm missing somebody and I know it, Kayla and Holly doing event coordination, this wouldn't happen. So we have a great team. It's really, really nice. Guy Corbacero was going to represent MRPC in the room. I want to apologize that I couldn't invite all of you. We had no control. It's like, can we have your room? Yes. And so it's going to be the secretary and the congressman and 50 of their closest friends from the Montezuma region that they haven't met yet. The reality, the background on this is that Jim McGovern approached the Biden administration X months ago, as all I was told, sometime fairly recently, I think as early as late 2021. And it basically went to the White House and said, we haven't had a conference on food and hunger and food insecurity and food deserts since the Lyndon Baines Johnson administration in the 60s. And the Biden administration said, yeah, we got to focus on this. This is a very important issue, and especially in the light these days of supply chains, it brings it to the focus. he was asked to work with Secretary Becerra. Secretary Becerra said, okay, I want to go on a fact-finding mission, presumably across the country. We're one of those spots. So Secretary Becerra's office, it was a very interesting meeting this morning with Becerra's staff, with McGovern staff, with Holly, myself, and Secret Service. It was interesting. But the bottom line is that you all will all be well represented in this. But I limited them to, it's like I had an event in there with 55 people, and I limited them to 50. And the reality is that room legally with the fire codes can hold about 78. But I know that there are going to be people that are going to crash this party. And, I think the mayor of Leominster might show up. And so there's going to be a lot of standing room only. So I apologize that you didn't get invitations. And if you want to stick your pin in a Glen Eaton doll later, please do. But it was out of our control. So on the good side of the asset and liability sheet, it's wonderful that a cabinet secretary from Washington is going to visit our facility. Supposedly 8 or 9 journalists are going to be in the room from all over. That's in the Becerra camp staff. They know what's going on. We don't. And I think it's going to shine, very well on Growing Places Inc., which is Ian Yeagel's outfit. They're in the red house behind us. Growing Places Inc. is all about food and getting food to people who are in poverty-stricken areas and so on and so forth. Ian Yeagle is also going to be the moderator. And I just want to let you know that this is happening. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to bode well for us. I think we're going to get some good ink out of this, and it's a wonderful opportunity for the organization. So I just want to make people aware. I certainly didn't want you to see something in the paper about this, next week. That hey, Eaton never told us. We just had a board meeting Thursday, and this thing happened Friday morning. So that's the gist. I just wanted to inform you. It's FYI. Thank you for your time, Mr. Chairman. And some people's hands went up, so I defer to Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. John, you have a question? Telepiak?
Oh, I think Brad had his hand up first.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was left over. Brad?
That is left over. That hand is
Okay.
left over. I apologize for that.
Okay, very good. No problem.
I just
John?
wondered if there was going to be food insecurity. If you're going to have so many people, are you going to have food insecurity there?
John, I love your questions. May I ask Holly to answer that question? She should get some credit for talking about this. She coordinated. Holly, would you like to answer that, please, for our commissioners?
Well, we'll just have a few pastries and beverages there. So hopefully there'll be enough there for everybody.
Thank you, Holly. Okay, any other new business or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Bob Schwartz, so move.
Okay, very good. And do I have a second?
Jeff Tillotson, second.
Okay, Jeff Tillotson, all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? Then I call this meeting adjourned at 7:39. Thank you very much.
Well.